So this morning we've got Gavin Mist in the studio from York Recorded Music Society. Morning, Gavin.
Morning, Nick.
It's good to see you. So tell us a bit about York Recorded Music Society. What do you do?
Well, basically, we meet regularly and listen to classical music from recordings, mainly CDs. And the meeting programmes can be anything from focus on a particular composer, or it might be music on a theme. For instance, we've got one coming up on violin music, or it might be looking at a performer. So there can be quite a variety of different programme subjects.
And how often do you meet?
We meet monthly on Saturday afternoons from 2 o'clock until around 4:30.
You've been going a while?
Yes, the society's been going 60 years this year, actually. It was formed in July 1955, and in that time it's been meeting regularly, providing what we call recitals of recorded music in the city.
And back then, what was it, the Gramophone Society or something like that?
Yes, that's right. It was first started as the York Gramophone Record Society, and that came through from societies that were set up in the very early years of the 20th century when recording was new and the gramophone was quite a sort of newfangled thing, and not everybody could afford one. They were quite expensive, and records were expensive. And so societies formed to enable people to listen to the new recordings and to music together. So by 1955, of course, many more people had record players, but there was still a need for groups to listen, to share new recordings or recordings not everybody had. So it was a way of getting together with people with like interests.
Yeah, and I suppose to discuss different pieces of music and people's reactions to different pieces of music.
Yes, people react differently to a piece of music, and it's very nice to be able to listen together and to sort of maybe have a discussion about it. And also, of course, with classical music, there are so many different performances of one work. So people might have wanted to listen to maybe Beecham's new recording of Beethoven's Fifth or something like that, and to see what they thought of that. So yes, there was always that opportunity to sort of bounce ideas off each other and to share music.
I mean, that's a real bone of contention. I know people that have come to blows about different interpretations of the same piece.
Absolutely, yes, that's right.
Particularly
yes.
with conductors.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, everybody has their own favourite, and will sort of fly the flag for a particular conductor while maybe disparaging another one. But yes, well, in a friendly way, of course.
Well, let's have a break for a piece of music and then come back and talk a bit more. Let's have Mozart Piano Sonata in C Major, played by Mitsuko Yoshida. So let's continue our chat with Gavin Mist from York Recorded Music Society. So what kind of people are you looking to attract?
Well, anybody who loves classical music, really. It's an opportunity to come along and listen in a group and enjoy classical music with like-minded people. You don't have to know a lot about classical music. It's not essential to know anything about classical music, really. If you just have an interest in it and like listening to it. Members have said to me that they like coming because it's a chance to hear things they've not heard before, and then they can go out and buy the CD themselves. And others have said that they like to come because it's listening at home is all very well, and I like listening to classical music at home on my own. Coming to the society, you can have a couple of hours just of concentrated listening without interruption.
And you're right, clubs and societies exist so that people of like-minded pursuits can meet.
Absolutely. And it's always nice to meet new people. Another new member sort of recently said, I wanted to come along because I like listening to classical music, but I like to listen with other people, and then I can have a talk about it afterwards, and it's quite nice to have that added level of interest in the listening.
And I like the fact that it's accessible. I'm always one of those people that's assumed or always wanted classical music to be accessible in the way popular music is, pop and rock and folk and blues. And sometimes classical has got a bad rap over that, and I think the more that people meet and discuss classical music without having to be intellectual about it, I think the better.
Yes, I think that's very true. Yes, we're not an intellectual society. Obviously, within the membership, we have different levels of knowledge. People often say, well, if you like a particular piece of music by this composer, why don't you try a piece by a contemporary composer, because he was writing similar sort of music, and you think you might like that.
Absolutely. And it engenders discussion, I think, and that's the key, really.
That is the key thing, yes. It's just that feeling that you're with people who have a similar mind. It's always nice that you can talk to people without feeling that you're making a fool of yourself or anything. Nobody's going to sort of say, oh, didn't you know about that, or anything like that.
Not judgmental.
Not at all.
No. And I'm guessing you have guest speakers to the society?
Yes, but most of our programmes are devised and presented by members, because we couldn't afford to keep having too many guest presenters. But from time to time we do, and we had a very good one just recently in our November meeting. We had Alan George, who's one of the founder members of the Fitzwilliam String Quartet, and he's also music director of the Academy of St Olives Orchestra in York here. And he gave a very good talk about the Fitzwilliam Quartet and about the history of it and the composers and musicians that they'd worked with over the years.
If people want to get in touch to join the society, or maybe somebody's listening who may want to give a talk to the society, how do they get in touch with you?
We have a Facebook page, so if you're on Facebook and can go to York Recording Music Society, you'll find us on there. Otherwise, you can contact me on 01904 653 193, or contact me through my email, pix-sounds, so that's pix-sounds @gavinmist.com.
Now we like our guests to pick a piece of music, so Gavin, what would you like us to play?
Well, Nick, I absolutely love Bach's Brandenburg concertos, and for me, my favourite of all is number 4 and the last movement of the 4th Brandenburg Concerto.
Played by?
On this recording, it's the Academy of St Martin in the Fields, directed by Sir Neville Mariner.
Oh, is there better?
None better.